Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flying with Mike. Today's edition, we're flying out of Juneau, Alaska into Seattle with the Zibo 737. Um, this is a route that was suggested by one of our followers and heading down to Seattle today. We're going to fly the Millennial Aviation Company 737 Blue Tail. Uh, really love this. I've gotten nothing but high praises for this livery. Of course, Juneau doesn't help here by putting a jetway in the middle, but can't fix what they've already done. But anyway, yeah, it's a beautiful livery. So we're gonna take it from here up in Juneau to the Emerald City of Seattle. So hopefully y'all are ready for the flight. We are just about on our end. The fuel is loaded in the plane, and we're going to see where we left off with the checklist before going live with y'all. So let's hop up in the cockpit and see where things stand. Okay. Okay, there we go. And basically, we've got all of the checklist items for the preliminary procedure checks, pre-flight procedures, meaning the battery switch was checked, the standby power, ground power, and so forth. Nav, the IRS switched back off, waited about 10 seconds, turned them back to nav, and then we actually loaded the route in. Now, what you see on that nav display, 9 out of 10 uh, chances will not happen. Oh, it might in the real world. They might actually make a 737 do that hard turn to come back, but usually they're going to fly them up the channel. You'll see what I mean here in the pre-flight momentarily. But we've gone through everything down to, we've entered the route, we just got to do the performance initialization, the N1, the trims, and the V-speeds. The altimeters are already set to 299.0, and let me double check that real quick, hasn't changed, okay. And switching to that, while I'm here on Sim Toolkit, let's get it alive for you all, so that way I'm not talking and you have no idea where I'm at here on the flight. So give me 1 second there for that and this. So pre-flight, so that way you all can get ready for the flight. Let me just punch here. All right, so for today, the routing is the Juneau 6 to LVD, Level Island. I think that's what it's called. I'll double check here. All right, where are we here? Yeah, Level Island. And from there, we just get on the J502 to Victoria, British Columbia, and then we join the Mariner 7 arrival into Seattle. Folks, this is a very simple flight plan. To plug into any FMC, it's just simply LVD. Then in the proper spot, you put J Victor or J502. Across from it, Yankee Yankee Juliet, and activate. Folks, that's all there was to making this flight plan. So it's a real simple flight. We are going to go off runway 8, but we're going to fly up the channel and then go direct LVD. So, and we watched them do it while we were there in Alaska. So that's him. I ain't speaking out my butt like you think I do half the time. So, so for this, we're at an elevation of 25 feet above sea level, runway 8, as you can see here on the chart, heading of 085. And there is a bit of a slope to the runway, and I really can't tell it when I'm running down it, but we'll see if we see it today. The Transition level is 18,000. I'm not sure why they changed our CI here for SimBrief when it's an aircraft set at 85, but they did somehow. Don't know why. Anyway, we will use a cost index of 85. We'll get into that when we get back to the plane. Air distance 771 miles. And for fuel, we have uploaded 18,771. All right, let me do a quick check here to make sure. 18,771. Okay. All right. Finally, let's look at the charts. Here's what it looks like, on a map. Like I said, folks, can't get much easier than this other than going Juneau, Seattle, we're done. So really nice and easy there. Significant weather hanging off. The jet stream is hanging off the coast. And they're showing turbulence occasional to 35,000. We'll see if that pans out on the trip. And wind-wise, since we're going to be at 35,000 feet, looks like a tailwind all the way down. And a pretty significant one since the jet was right about here. So we'll have a pretty good tail going down. No step climbs anticipated. We'll double check. We'll watch things. If they do, 39,000. The winds looks like pretty much speed-wise they're the same. So, if we have to go up, we will. So beyond that, folks, that is your pre-flight for this trip and a little tour of Juneau. Let me get things reset here real quick with you looking at Sim Toolkit. Well, the live map always takes forever. And I'm going to zoom that out because, like I said, we're going to fly this channel all the way out and then come out this way to Level Island, VOR. Okay, so with that, let's head back to the cockpit and begin the remainder, or finish the remainder of the pre-flight procedure checklist, and get into the before start and get this thing going. All right, so. All right, so we are in the cockpit. Now we're looking at the tablet here. And you can see we have 33,600 loaded, 18,771 on the pounds loaded, and our takeoff weight will be around 146,924. Here's our CGs. So let me come back over here. We'll finish up where we left off, which is entering our route, which we've already done, our performance initialization, and the N1 information. We'll go ahead and finish that out now. All right, so to performance, and I'm going to put 18.7. Okay, 0 fuel. Now, for the reserves, okay, looking at SimBrief, and I don't have it up for y'all, and I do apologize. We're looking at alternate of needing 3,000, and for our 45 minutes, so we need about 6.3, so 6,300 gallons. We're doing 8.5. And we're going to 3,500. Now, SimBrief, and I will bring this up only to show this off, and hopefully I won't forget. Okay, so we're back on Sim Toolkit. As you can see, we have a figure here. They want cruise wind. Basically, it's just an average of what the wind is for us in flight. So, with Sim Toolkit, you can find that average wind right here, and it's 323 at 41. And of course, we do the @ with the slash. Oh crap, and of course I just 41. Okay. And we plug that in and we hit execute. Now what that did is it just one more figure to help it plan us along our way. And I don't know what the ISA deviation TOC I do know the transition altitude. That is correct. So we'll move on. Now I'm using Professional Flight Planner here, folks. And for them, we're on runway 8, flaps 1. We'll be doing a TO2 departure. We'll put 35 in for the select temperature. And we'll come up to climb. Well, we'll do climb 2. It isn't going to hurt anything. Then we'll slide over to takeoff. All right, so one last, oh, my bad. See, this is why I get a little nervous bringing it up. I forgot to take it down. Okay. All right, so going back here, we're now putting in our speed information and our N1 information. So for N1, hang on a second, let me get us there. We're going with takeoff 2 and 35 degrees Celsius on the select temperature. And we're going to go ahead and let it do what the system came up with, climb 2 for the departure. Okay, then we move over to takeoff. Now we can click CG. It's just going to put in what's in the plane. Now, click next page will put us on the runway wind. And with Sim Toolkit, I am showing 080 at 3. Pretty minuscule wind, but that all factors in. I don't know how to put the slope in, so I skip over that. And we're on a heading of 085. And for me to do that, I got to put the slash in. Okay, now acceleration height, I go with 1,500 feet. Climb 2 will be the same. Okay, so we come back. Unfortunately, the one thing I don't like about Professional Flight Planner is it tells me all this great information to use D-rate takeoff 2 at 35 degrees Celsius, but it doesn't tell me what that's going to set the engines to. That's the bummer to it. And 11 degrees Celsius, I just checked to make sure is correct. Interesting. The garbage truck is here. I'm not sure why. Huh. Wow. Okay. Let's see. So we are going to do a flap 1 departure, so we'll put that up at the top here. Now here's where we always run into discrepancies. I show 149 for a V1, 150. And 155. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. Little distracted with the garbage truck in the neighborhood on the wrong day. Okay, so we are now set up here on the takeoff reference. We're going to move ahead of the checklist just a tad. And we're going to set, I'm just seeing how far ahead we're moving. Okay, this is a little out of whack too. Huh, interesting. Okay, Q and H set. Okay, so now it's just saying for me to start the APU up. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and do that. So first we'll turn the fuel pump on. I always go with the pilot side forward pump. I don't know if that's the easiest one for them to get to if they have problems or not. That's the one I always choose. And it says you shouldn't turn the APU on until you're done fueling. So we're in Alaska, folks, so it gets kind of cold. I don't know if y'all were here with me yesterday, but it was minus 22 degrees Celsius where we were flying. A little on the chilly side. All right, so the APU is cranking up. And settling in, it should be giving us the gens here. Okay. Oh, they say left aft fuel pump. Okay. Oh, I was close. Got the inboard for that side. Oh, well. So let's bring the generator on. Bleed on. Bleed. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we'll keep it set. And trim air's on, just making sure. Okay. All right, so let's turn ourselves now to the MCP now that we have everything fired up here. So MCP is right here. Well, that's EFIS. But anyway, so we're going to turn the flight directors on. And what I'm going to do is kind of pan it down so we can see. We need to set the auto throttle is still at off. V2 plus 15 is what they say for the speed. I go usually V2 plus 10. And that's 155, so that'll be 165. Runway heading we said was 85. Whoop. And we're shooting for 35,000. Okay. Fuel flow switch. Okay. Just zeroed our used. All right, so now let's move over here. Now this, I am going to actually, oh, I think I just, yeah, I did. And what I'm going to do is just kind of slide over. All right, so we got the altimeter set. Let's set the radio altimeter. And I'm going to set it to 100. Expecting a VFR arrival. Okay. Now for the departure, we're going to go with 400. Just 400 feet above our setting here. Which, by the way, should have crossed over to here, and it looks like it did. We'll okay, it's being one of those good old pain days. Okay, so it's going to have to work from here. Okay, everything's set. And now would be the time to set your individual. And I'm going to go ahead and turn traffic off. Okay. Landing gear levers down. Speed brake lever down. That is this lever here. Thrust lever closed. Engine start levers at cutoff, which they are all the way down. Parking brake set. Yaw damper. And we can start boarding passengers. Okay, folks. So we are at that point where we've gone through everything. Now, what I'm going to be doing here real quick, I say that, and I'm just going to go through all of these, get them checked off because we've done them. So when you come back, we'll have the passengers on board, and this is for our YouTube crowd, by the way. We'll have the passengers on board and ready to do the push and start checklist. We'll see you momentarily. All right, for those of you on Twitch, here we go. Getting the rest of these done real quick. We did these 3. All right, we got a couple more things we'll check here. We'll do that when we get caught up here, so that we're all at the before start checklist. And this one's not as bad as the next one. Fortunately, I don't know how to check them all, because the checklist I use that I found on the internet's pretty good. Takes us through just about every step here except for a couple. And that's what I want to go over. And we're going through some of them right now. So the ignition panel, we want left or right. We're going to go with right. Engine start at auto. And we'll test our oxygen as well. Okay. And we're also going to perform the fire check, and then we're going to load the airplane. Okay, so that brings us up to the before start checklist. Okay, let's go back to home. Okay, and we'll start that process up of getting the plane ready real quick. And then we'll switch gears and load the plane real quick. All right, there she was. If you didn't hear her, she was kind of faint, but basically telling us we are loaded. All right, welcome back, folks, on the YouTube side of the house. We're going to do the push and start here real quick. System B electric hydraulic pump on. Okay. Any collisions and all fuel pumps will come on. Okay. And we can move the auto throttle now at any time. All right, so let's close up the plane. If you didn't see it, the shadow right there knew. Okay. Chocks removed. All right. And better pushback. Making sure I'm on the right line. There's a lot of lines here to get all discombobulated with. All right.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Okay, and we are ready. Only because it takes him a little bit to get positioned.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Because it takes him a little bit to get set up. That'll give us a couple seconds here to get everything going. Okay, so home. Before start, flight deck door will close here momentarily. CDUs, N1 bug set, IAS bug set, MCP set, we're good there. Pushback, transponder as needed. Parking brake will get here momentarily. Huh.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
And I did get the
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
all right, so we are uh-oh. What did I do here? I sure did. Okay. Okay, there isn't any easy way to cancel this. Of course not. What I'm doing is just getting my flight plan put in here real quick. Okay.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay. All right, now, couple things here. First things I want to do is we'll get the timer for pushback started. Okay, now up top here, what we got to make sure, and I always forget this, especially with the 7.4, all your fuel pumps, just the wing ones have to be turned on for now. Make sure the APU bleed is on, and with the 737, you have to turn off the packs. Oh wait, I have to turn the packs off. Okay, and we'll wait for them to stabilize. Okay, again, we're going to start from number 2, then number 1, using the right ignition system. So all we do is basically click it to ground, come down to here, and we watch it build up. At 17, to 25, we can then pull the fuel lever up. Okay. We got a light off. As you can see, the EGT coming up and all the rest of the numbers pretty quickly rising up as well.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, and at 52, it is going to turn off your starter.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Which it did. All right, so we have stabilized, so we can do the same thing. And I just turned the generator on. Okay, and there you go, folks. We have started the aircraft. We'll go through the after start here momentarily. We're just waiting for everything to stabilize here. And starter cutoff, and the lights are out. Okay. Transponders on. Let's go over here, check. We'll get the hydraulic pumps on. And the generator on.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Okay, with the start of the engines, we can now turn, well, just want to check one. Okay, that's good. All right, so we are good to go here. Let's run. Ooh, well, we would be if we had that on. We'll leave the wing light off for now. All right, so let's head over here, catch up the checklists. Engine start, we just did. All right, so generators 1 and 2 are on. Just going through it over here. Probe heats, anti-ice, left and right packs to auto, and APU off. Pretty much what we got here. We'll start right there. Let's head up here. Okay, so the probe heat's on. We'll go ahead and turn the engine ice on. Hydraulics are set. Packs are on. .432. Close enough. Left and right packs are in auto. Isolation good. APU bleed off. And APU off. Okay. Okay, so we're going to come back down and head over to here. Engine start switches to continuous, start levels to idle. Okay, now those are two different areas, so let me show you. We're going to go back topside, go to continuous. Start levers, oops, little missed. They're at idle here. These are your levers, those are your switches. No semantics, but it is what it is. Okay. Got those, got those. Ground equipment's clear. Flap levers will be set to flap 1, I believe is what we were saying. Yes. So we'll just move it that real far notch down. There it goes. And we'll verify it here. It's at flap 1. Flight controls will check and taxi out. So back out to the takeoff. Okay, so we'll go up to here. All right, so what it wants us to do is basically, I'm going to come into the middle again, and we'll bring up the system stuff. We're going to basically do a quick sorry for coughing in your ears. Quick control check. Okay, come back up here to engine. What I also want to do is we need 5 units on the trim. Okay. And taxi checklist, flaps, taxi lights as required, turn off lights as required. We are ready to go. And we'll set the RTO now. And okay, so here we go, folks. Turning the taxi lights on. All right. Let me just look at this checklist here is before takeoff. We'll do it here. Configs checked. Flaps are green. Stab trim set to 5. And takeoff brief complete. Oh, that's what we need to do. We'll come right down to the line. Okay. Well, I'm glad we did this. All right, real quick with the departure brief. We're going to go ahead and head on down to the runway. Way too many trucks and cars here. Okay, we got the lights on. Here we go, folks. And hopefully, like most flights, I won't forget the departure brief. But anyway, folks, we are taxiing for the runway, and we'll get into that departure brief at the end of the runway. We'll see you then on YouTube, Twitch. We'll be right back. All right, and YouTube folks, welcome back. We are coming up to the end of the runway, or to the runway edge here, Bravo, and we'll be go ahead and hit some brakes here. We've got a departure brief I want to get completed here, which isn't really too rough here. We'll just go over it so that we've actually done it. And then we'll make our final things get set up here in the cockpit. All right, and as we come up to the hold point for runway 8. Okay, so let's do that departure brief. That's where we are here. Cabin is secure. We just look over the shoulder and make sure the door is closed. And it is. All right, so folks, we're going to bring up Sim Toolkit one more time. Yes, that means one more time. I could forget it. All right, so with Sim Toolkit up, here's basically you're kind of seeing what the chart says to do. What we're going to do a lot different. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up NavGraph. We'll show you the Juno 6 arrival. Come on, there we go. Most importantly here, let me just do a quick check. Okay, that's good. If Anchorage comes up, they'll be on 133.9. Airport elevation is 25, transition level 18,000. Folks, I could say that till the cows come home because it never changes. So the departure for the Juno 6 calls for you to take off on runway. Well, we'll go through the procedure here. You're going to take off, where's it written out? Here it is. Okay, so you're going to do a climbing right turn as soon as practical. Now you got 4,000 foot mountains right over here. So you gotta make sure you can clear those. Now, from there, you're going visual conditions to the CGL NDB or a heading of 279. Then from there, proceed west on a course to 2.0 DME on the I Juliet Delta Lima. Visual conditions have to be maintained at all times until established off the CGL NDB. And then you fly it out, folks. So from CGL, you go west to the Barlow. You guys kind of remember maybe this as we came in. Barlow's one of the places I wanted to make sure the plane was fully configured, ready to land at. Same place, except here when we're doing the level island transition. Come on. And then we're going to head to transition. And to do that, we're going to come off Barlow on a 140 heading, intercept the 075 off of Sisters Island to Radkey to Summit Strait, which is only a half mile from Level Island, and then we're on course. Actually, what we are going to fly, and since it's visual, we're just going to come out and just follow it right up the channel here, and then work our way staying over the water to level island. Love, my mind always wants to say level D. Okay, the whole time we're doing this procedure, we have to be mindful of the high terrain all around. 8,000 foot mountains here, 4,000 to 5,000 foot here. So constantly got to make sure we can clear those. Now, Alaska Airline actually has a departure. Their pilots can fly up the channel. It's available every day for them. So, but they fly up the channel and then head for Level Island, and then on course. Actually, I think it's a little different, but still, you get the point. And that, folks, is the departure brief. The only other thing to go over are the V speeds, and we'll do that real quick here after we get the remainder. Okay, we're in TRA. Strobe lights and landing lights on the runway. Okay, and then we'll do the after takeoff checklist. Okay, let me bring the other one down. Excuse me. And I'm also going to turn TCAS on. All right, folks, we are ready to depart. Folks, we are heading out. Let's do the after takeoff checklist. Where are we at here? There we are. Takeoff climb. Clocks started. Throttles. Parking. V, D, 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 D. Okay, we got all that. Okay. All right, so that's all looking good. And we're on VNAV. Okay, we'll just kind of hold. There's the after takeoff checklist, which was basically auto brakes are off, landing gear lever up and then off when it's finished, and landing lights go off at 10,000 feet. I'm going to look outside the aircraft real quick. And again, right back here, folks. I don't know how well we're doing here. Hang on. Anyway, right here is where the Capitol is, and then the boats would park here. Airport's right there. So you can see what Alaska does, basically straight up the channel and then on course. Which, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna now go direct, level. Almost said it again, folks. You heard it, level D. No, it's level island. Execute. And let's go ahead and let the plane do the talking. Now we're building speed up. And it says we're using reserve fuel, which we'll see once we get to altitude. Let me just get over here and take a look. We'll have 7.2 on the ground, so we should be fine. As soon as I clear that off, that should take care of that. We're down to 70 pounds in the center tanks. And once we have the center tanks emptied, I think that's as much as we're going to pull from them. Let's hop up here, turn them off, and hang on a second here. At transition, we're going to turn our throttles back, or our start switches back to auto, and continue on. So let's see where we're at here. 12,000 feet, direct, level island. And I was just adjusting the trim because, like I've told y'all in the past, it seems like once I get airborne and zeroed out on autopilot, it always seems best for me to just get it to that little notch on my throttle stick here, and it seems to help the airplane. Even the Coronado Caravan really does seem to help it out a lot. So, quirk with X-Plane, but it's still better, and hopefully one day here's in the near future we'll be going to the new flight sim and start the complaining process all over again. Alright, did I do what I think I did? I sure as heck did. My apologies, folks. I'm a bad host. Oh well, we're now able to see the flight. Let me make sure. There we go. My apologies that y'all couldn't see what I was talking about. But anyway, we are on our way. Like I said, we went up that inlet there, straight out into this open area of water, and then we're now proceeding to Level Island. And with that, folks, and the fact that my throat is a little scratchy right now on top of it, I'm gonna kind of sit on the side here as we, well, one step to do here. We'll do that momentarily. There we go. Make sure the other side switched over too. Okay, and it did. All right, so the checklist called for us to get these to auto, and we just did. Folks, we are now cruising up. Center pumps are already off. Autopilot and FMC check complete. And we'll begin looking for the top of descent momentarily. Let me get these lights off. Escobar is always being called for on Zibo, and I don't know why. So folks, with that, the seatbelt sign is off. You're free to move about the cabin. Enjoy the flight, and we'll see you at the top of descent. All right, folks, I'm back with you for a few minutes here as we're in cruise above the Canadian, British Columbia area of the North American continent, headed down to Seattle. Currently looking at where are we at here? Trying to get my bearings here. Let me click progress. We are 596 miles out, so that's about an hour to go. Top of descent around 491. Um, we're going to go ahead and let's get the FMC programmed up. So let's go into that arrival brief. Okay, and for the arrival brief, we're going to need Sim Toolkit. As you can see, we are actually still in Alaska. It looks like we're getting ready to cross over Ketchikan. Um, Hang on a second here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. That's one of my favorite places. That's why. See if I'm going to be able to see it or not. It looks like that cloud deck's going to prevent me. But let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to see it. Okay. Well, like I said, that is one of my favorite places in Alaska. If anything, I think it might be right back here. So, oh well, we gave it a shot. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back in here. Sorry for that. Let me again get going with the arrival brief here. Okay, and for that arrival brief, we need Sim Toolkit. Um, we just crossed over ANN. That's what triggered me to catch a can, by the way, folks. That's the close by VOR. So let's get into this. What are we doing into Seattle? All right, so you can see the remainder of our route. Down to Sandpit here, we turn, and then we head on into Seattle. The Mariner 7 is what we're slated to run in. We're going to be heading to the Victoria VOR, and then following this course um, down to M-A-R-N-R, Mariner, and then off on the 107 to Bone, to Naos, to Griffey, and then 16 Center is our planned runway. If I see any sign of VATSIM coming alive, we're going to turn off VATSIM and come in offline. Now, I'm not using POSCON for this flight. A couple of reasons. Um, they had a thing about flying military aircraft. They don't want it, so I don't know if it's because I actually really don't know why they aren't going to allow it. But I fly cargo and passenger cargo planes, so I don't know if that bans me or not from them. I'm not in the mood to testing them today, so anyway, we're gonna fly the Mariner arrival into 16 Center, and then go from there. So ATIS in Seattle is 118.0, elevation's 433 above sea level, and of course we transition at 18,000. No big brainer change there. Uh, Procedurally, we go from Victoria to Mariner, and it's pretty much on the 132 radial off of Victoria. However, Victoria, Orcas, Jigab, wait a minute, correction, Jigab isn't on ours. So Victoria, Orcas, all we have to be at above 17,000. Oh, I'm sorry. Victoria, we're above 20,000. Orcas, we're above 17,000 at 280 knots. Mariner, MARNR, will be at 270 and above 12,000. Here we're going to get more fined down on our, or more solid on our altitudes because we're, getting in close. Boan 11,000, Neos 8,000. Boan at 11,000 at 250 knots, 230 at Neos, 210 and at 6,000 feet at Griffey. Beyond that, it's a pretty simple arrival, other than there is some high terrain in the area, 10,000 feet to the west, 7,000, 6,000 off to the east. So we'll thread the needle here carefully. But it's really not that, not that spectacular like Juneau was. My apologies, I had to get some coffee in me. All right, so like I said, our goal is the 16 center arrival. And again, we'll look at the chart below here momentarily. Let's start from the top, work our way down. But first, let me push this out for a second. Oh, not that far out. Hang on, there we go. And let's talk about the weather in Seattle. And I did not want to see this. Doggone it, the winds are changing. Hang on a second. Okay, technically we are still favoring the 1.6s, but by barely. By barely, I mean as of 8 minutes ago. Winds are 240 at 10, and they are gusty to 22. That's a pretty hefty crosswind. Remember, we're landing on the 1.6s, so that's 40, 80 knots. We're, pushing a pretty good cross here coming in. 7 miles in visibility, light rain. Ceiling-wise, visibility-wise, we're fine. It's that wind that's pushing it pretty good. This could be fun. So, few clouds at 900 feet. Broken layer at 1,600, overcast 2,600 feet. Temperature dew points starting to get within that spread where fog could start up. Maybe that's where the light rain's coming in. And the altimeter is 2983. So we could have a runway change en route here. So we'll kind of pay attention, see what transpires. So anyway, getting back to the chart here. So anyway, right now, I haven't set anything up in the FMS yet. At this distance out, though, I like to do that. Hang on a second. There we go. Alright, looks like VATSIM is really not staying on its game anymore. No wonder Pajn is taking the online flying world pretty much by storm. But anyway, so let's go through it. We'll plan 1-6 Charlie. However, we may switch to 3-4 Charlie. We'll see how the winds go here. We'll make that final call at about 300 miles out. So the ATIS again is 118.0. This is our radio strip across the top. Seattle approach is 3365. Tower 119.9. And ground 121.7. Now, the localizer for the center runway is 111.7. Identified India, Sierra, Zulu, India. Final approach course 164, and by SODO we need to be on the glide slope at 1900 feet. Minimums are 126 feet, so everything's looking good in that avenue. It's this wind that's got me a little teeter-tottering on what runway we're going to end up on. This is what we're going to plan, though. So we're going to go from... anyway, if we do the missed approach here. Missed approach reads climb on a heading of 160, which is for all intrinsic purposes runway heading. Outbound on the Seattle VOR 161 heading to Tebing. TE Tango Echo Bravo November Echo. That's about 2.4 DME off Seattle. At or below 2,000. Then we're going to climb to 5,000, continuing out to Milt. And that's where we're going to hold until further guidance from ATC as to what they want us to do. Hang on a second here. I'm just waiting on my computer here. All right. So, Riffy, we're mandatory. GPS required 210 on the speed, 6,000 feet on the altitude. We've got about 8.5 miles to Magnum, and that's 12.8 miles from the runway. Okay, and that one we should be at or above 4,000. Remember, SODO right here is where we are supposed to be on glide slope at 1,900 feet, if we're not on it already. Expecting the full light up of the lighting systems there, the advanced airport lighting sequent flashing system 2. Pappy's on the left, and then again across the bottom is our diagram of our missed approach. Minimums, we can bring this down 0, 0 if we have to, so I'm not worried about that. And that, folks, covers what we're doing on this arrival. Once we're on the ground, 16 Charlie will be coming down, hopefully off in November, latest Papa, and then we'll taxi into this area of the terminal, see if the parking gates will show either A1 or A2. We'll see how that pans out. All right, folks, so there you go with how we'll be dealing with this. I'm going to see if VATSIM's not taking care of their network, I can see. All right, so let me get this out of the way. Now, the one last thing I want to go over here is we'll just... Oh, they got us on 16 left. Why are the frequencies wrong? Okay, heading 164, glide slope 3, so you can kind of see what we're doing here. See where we are on the chart here. And really, pretty much right here, down at the bottom of Sky Vector, that's where I plan to really finalize my runway. So we're going to go ahead and put in the Mariner right now. And we're going to hold off on the runway. Next page. YYJ. Execute. Legs. Okay. Perfect. All right. So there you go, folks. That is the arrival brief. The only other thing we need to go over is the V speeds for the arrival. We're going to do a flaps 30 arrival, auto brake 3 with flaps 30, like I said, expecting a VREF of around 146, and we'll come down at 160, slowing at the last mile for the touchdown. If the weather pans out like it says it will, we should have a great run in. Otherwise, you know, it'll be like you see it out here right now. So we'll have a great time. We'll be back with you here shortly. Let me see where we stand. We're about 355 miles out from our top of descent. So we'll see you in about an hour or so and make the final setup for our arrival into Seattle. But for now, Simply sit back, relax, enjoy the music, and we'll see you in about an hour. Alright folks, I'm going to jump in here real quick. We crossed YZT not too long ago. We're updating our flight plan here momentarily to reflect the 16 Charlie arrival. Now when I put this in, the fixes that come off of MARNR are not in there. So I am just basically putting them in there. Basically, to do this, all you do is you type it out here on the text line, and then where you want to insert it, and then close the gap, and then click execute. Now the one thing, we're getting that warning, that it's not doing, we got to be above 11,000, above 8,000, and at 6. I'm gonna leave it as is, and I don't like seeing a speed like that. We're just gonna say 210. Oh, no, we're not. Erase. So we're gonna go 210 slash 6. That looks better. Okay. And these are pretty close. Alright, so really the steep descent's going to be from here to here. We only have 8 miles to drop pretty close to 2,000 feet. They're saying to be below 3,200 feet. And I know y'all don't see the I'm just going to go with 3,200 feet there. 3,200. Okay, and that should set us up fine for the arrival. Okay, but the winds right now, just to update you, looking at the Sim Toolkit, closing that out, moving that out of the way. As of 16 or so minutes ago, they're now 210 at 11, so they're a little more to the runway heading, thankfully. I'm confident we'll be able to come in this way. However, we're still showing it anywhere from 230 to, I'm thinking I'm reading this right, 205. We'll see. But anyway, so the winds are kind of shifting around, so we'll pay attention to that on our arrival. All right, folks. Let me just make sure. Okay, I did not. So again, the arrival procedure will be from YYJ. We got to be above 20,000, above 17,000 at Orcus, above 12,000 at Marner. Then technically above 11,000 at Pajn, Neos, it's 8,000, Griffey at 6,000, 210 knots. That one is the firm altitude and speed. From there, it's kind of on us. Looking at VATSIM, they finally got their act together and got their server back and running. I don't know if they're trying to go out of business. They're done. I don't know, but man, lately it's been fun to watch. But the old dog in town still has 1,108 total connections right now. So, outdoing OzCon by just a mere 1,100 connections. Alright, sorry for clearing my throat there, folks, but we are on our way in, and we'll be back with you shortly. Looking at our progress page in about a half hour. No, I'm sorry, correction, not even that. We'll be back with you in about 15-20 minutes as we reach the top of descent. Hang on a second here. I meant to do it this way. That was all on me. I got used to the 7.4 and forgot this one can do things a little differently. Okay, so we're in our descent now. heading into the clouds and into Seattle. Current winds and information shows us as of almost a half hour ago, still 210 at 11, 10-mile visibility, 1,500-foot, few clouds, 2,800 overcast. I'm sorry, broken, and also broken at 5,500. So we're going to have a couple layers to drop through. Temperature 7 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius on the dew point, and we'll put 2983 in for the altimeters. So hang on a second, we'll do that. We'll get that preset. There we go. And there we go, folks. We're going to switch now to radio. So we're radar altimeter at 100. We should be flaring to touchdown. And we're going to go ahead and maybe give this a try at an auto land. We'll kind of get a feel for it as it's coming in if I want to try it or not. It's something I used to love doing with FedEx to get my instrument ratings up, and I'd like to get back into that. So I'm not going to do it with the 747, obviously. That plane's way too unpredictable still, but maybe with Zibo, maybe I'll download or buy another aircraft and give it a try. Yep, I saw the yikes there, G-Nice for you. I don't know what caused that, but like I said, I happened to catch it in the earphones. So that was my saving grace on that. So, but anyway, we're back under control here. And still easing it on down again. Above 20,000 at YYJ, Orcus above 17,000 you can see, and Mariner above 12. A lot of times I'll change that and make it 12,000. I'm going to trust it for now. I don't really like seeing this at 1,000 feet a minute. All right, a couple of things here. We are in the descent, so let's start the descent checklist. Okay, we got the altitude started. Let's move the start switches to continuous. To do that, make sure you have it looking like it's going to turn it to the left or to the right. One click. Okay, come back here monitoring. Oh, there we go, a little steeper. Descent. Fasten seatbelts at 15,000 or lower. Landing lights at 10,000. Then we'll get into the arrival. Let's, while we're here, get all of these knocked out because we did them. Cruise, climb, descent. Okay, verified, recalled the system. And let's get the VREF set up. And I'll be on the side momentarily. Okay, folks, we're back with you. Monitoring the descent looks good. We've got the VREF put in. It's a little updated from when Professional Flight Planner set it up at 146. We've got it showing 147. We're not going to split hairs too much there. And we're set to continue down to transition level. So we'll catch as we get around the bend here at Mariner, and we'll bring it on in for our YouTube users. Obviously, Twitch folks, you get to see the whole kit and caboodle, mistakes and everything. So we'll see you all as we come off Mariner and headed for Griffey. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and kill the music there. We are 14 miles from Marner, and we're going to go ahead and bring this on in to bring this into the landing of runway 16 center. We've been kind of ourselves pushing this aircraft down because it was not really wanting to descend. So let me, oops, still got the speed brakes up, hang on. All right, they are off and not showing armed. Okay, ouch. Oh. Anyway, just a quick update. Both me and my wife, we do have COVID. Sorry, folks. Wear your masks if you're going to be on stream with us. Just kidding. Anyway, I'm home till well, I get my doctor's excuse next Friday, not a couple of days from now, but the week after. And then hopefully we'll be back on shift shortly thereafter. So we'll kind of see how that works. She's working from home, so she just has to ask the dog basically for a return to work schedule and she can go back to work. But in the meantime, we'll try and stream as much as this disease allows, this virus, this whatever you want to call it. And we'll take it home every day, you know, do the best we can. YouTubers will try to get a stream up every night. Yesterday's flight in the 208 wasn't posted. Looks like we had some microphone problems listening in on it. So barring any of that tonight, we should be able to get you a stream here in the next day or two. And let me just make sure. Okay. Coming up on Marner, we'll be at 12,000. Kind of like I like to play that. And temperature wise, I am going to play it safe. Go. Turn on the wing ice. And let's go ahead now and push for 6,000. Okay. Now remember, I've forgotten the name of that one. Pajn is above 11,000. Technically, when we set this up, it has us set in a little slower, so or a little lower. We'll kind of play it by ear, see what happens. We're not going to set it to 11. And then the next one is 8,000, I think, at 230, and then 210 at 6. Oh, excuse me for the yawn. 6,000 at Griffey. And then Griffey will intercept the ILS and proceed inbound. So that's our game plan here, folks. Thank you all for joining. If you did like or do like what you're seeing, hearing, anything, by all means, you can do one of two things or both. Put it in the chat room. Lets me see directly what you like, didn't like. And two, if you want to follow us on our next adventure, simply click follow and you'll be getting a email notification from Twitch when we go live. So that way you can follow wherever we're going. Hang on a second here. I need to slow us down. We just crossed Pajn. And that also means the landing lights need to come on. Okay. And all the other lights look good. All right. Approach checklist. Let's get that rolling here. No ATC still. All right, so the approach checklist, altimeters are set, altitude for the approach is set, ILS set, VCARD or V-speed set. Flaps will be set, speed brakes will be armed, and the auto brakes are set at 3. Landing gear will go down at about 5 miles out, and the retractable and taxi lights are already on. All right, let me pull the speed brakes off at the moment and make sure we don't drop below 8,000 here. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up a little so we can get a better look at our profile here. Okay. And again, remember, this is Griffey here, folks. That's 6,210 knots. And then from there, I'm going to set 4,000, I believe it is, for, I call it Magnum, MGNUM. All right, so we'll close that out, move that out of the way, come back to here. And they're looking at Sim Toolkit. There's a lot of rain in the area, so which we already knew. All right, so we're still above 8,000. Now we got to head for the hard deck of 6,000 and slowing to 210. We'll help that along with the speed brakes. All right, let me do one thing here real quick. Get us lined up there. Go down here. 111.7. Final check. 111.7. Okay. All right. All right, so we're coming up on 210. I'm going to go ahead and put those, stow the brakes. Go over here, finish up. And
1,000 to go.
approach. Signs are on, transition level, ILS landing. Okay, so basically here shortly we should be getting notification. Okay, 6,000 of the ILS becoming alive. Actually really shocked we're not in that. Up there it goes. Make sure that doesn't look like the right numbers. ISZI. Okay, that's not correct. That's correct. All right, so now, that's why you got to be patient here a little, folks. Put the VOR on. We're about to level off at 6,000. In 1 mile, so I'm going to go ahead and start dialing
1,000 to go.
down to 4. Actually, yeah, 4,000. See if we continue. Okay. We're going to wait on the flaps just about a smidge longer. Let me look. We're the only thing in the pattern. That's good. We're descending to 4,000. VOR is on. We're going to glide slope. Okay, didn't expect it to grab that quick. Hopefully it'll hold the heading. Okay. Okay, and again, the lights are on. Anti-ice is on. Okay. Flaps 1. Actually, we're going to go to flaps 2. Reason I want us to be slowed under 180 because we're about to grab the glide slope at 4,900 feet.
Go.
Hopefully. And we've got a pretty good rain. And this is where this can drive people nuts. Don't be afraid to just kind of either turn the strobes off if they're bugging you or come down on this a little. Okay, there we go. Single channel. Flaps 5. And you can see we're 13 miles out. So there's no rush for the gear. We're going to let her settle in on this speed. Glide slope has been achieved. And I am going to get us in case. Okay, 4,000 is set for a missed approach. I'm going to bring us down to 160, which is our approach speed. And at about 9 to 10 miles is when I'll get the gear down. Let's go flaps 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are on final approach. Sit your butts down, put your tray tables up in their full upright positions, and we'll be on the ground here shortly. Yeah, somehow I don't think they'd say that. What do y'all think? Okay. All right, so back up front here. We don't see the runways yet, do we? Nope. Distance 9 miles. Let's go with gear down. And we'll go to flaps. What is that, 15? Oh, look what I got out there. I got runways. We're gonna shoot her up for a full all out. Give it a try. And sorry for the bumpy ride, folks. We're going to flaps 25. And at 5 miles, I want to set my... There we go. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brakes are at 3. Flaps 30. And we are at 30 and 30, correct? 30 and 30. Okay. Runway is in sight. And we're going to give this a try in auto land. And we're also going to try something else. Well, that doesn't help out any. Let me try this. Maybe it's, who knows. But that kind of helped by moving myself down. All right,
Guys,
folks,
repeat
that was kind
stabilize,
of
missed
funny.
approach altitude set.
All right, so missed approach is set, 160 set. We're going to slow now to the ref, which was 144. All right. I am not certain what's going to happen here, so I think
400.
I'll be honest, I've never done the full auto land with Zibo.
Minimums. 100 minimums. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
$80 knots.
All right, well, interesting to say the least. I curious, 723 feet a minute. I don't think it did a very good landing, but it auto landed. All right. All right, we are clear of 16 Charlie. And speed brakes up. Let's see. Oh, we're still. Okay, that's pretty cool. I've actually never had to use the wiper system in the planes. All right, so after landing checklist, hang on a second. All right, I'm gonna hold her up here. Over here, we'll just do it quickly. Auto brakes are off, speed brakes down. Hopefully nobody's landing, because we are light enough. She just wants to taxi. Okay, that gives me an idea what I'm doing on the other side. Now, I haven't said this in a long time, folks, because we really haven't been at airports with a lot of traffic. That traffic you're seeing on the deck here at Seattle, more than likely, one, is wrong in some cases. The air frog in front of us, that should probably be Alaska. I don't know where it gets some of its data from. Um, so that's incorrect. Now, let me make sure we hit the right areas. Clear the taxiway here. There we go. All right, we'll just stop there. All right, so anyway, that's the live traffic. And eventually I hope to get that narrowed down to where it doesn't affect us as much. All right, so get over here. Let's get the flaps up. Landing lights are off. Probe heats off. Stab trim to 4 units. APU is running. We'll keep it as is. Weather radar needs to be turned off so we don't fry anyone into not being able to have babies. And let me make sure we got nothing else over here. So we got the auto brakes, speed brakes down, probe heats off, exterior lights as needed. Get the start switches back, radars, flaps are as needed. Okay, so start switches back to auto. All right, and we'll go to here. And that down and that. Oh, somebody taxied right through us. How nice of them. Let's see who did that. Here comes another one. Man, Delta, you're just a mean airline. All right, and as we briefed, we're going to be behind the terminal here. So let's get our butt moving here so Delta doesn't taxi through us again. Man, you'd think they own the airport. They ain't that big of a hotshot. Okay, I'm going to come out. Okay. Oh, I forgot the strobes. And again, it's just all the way down. And there's our gate number 2. Turn the power down. Yeah, we're cheating. Turn the taxi lights off. Okay, there we are, folks. Let's go ahead and park the wipers. Okay, so we are now in the block. Set the parking brake if it's not already. It is. Okay, parking brake set. APU bleed on. APU generators on. Fasten seatbelts to off. And let's go ahead and shut those engines down. Hang on a second. Okay, let me pull this up here. Parking brake set, electrical power set, engines to cut off, fasten seatbelts, anti-collision lights, and fuel pumps to off. Those will stay and the ice can go off. Okay, so before we do that, doink, doink, and doink. Okay. Going down to the bottom here. And they're dialing back, so we're doing good there. And just put the transponder while we're down here to standby. Exterior lights, all of them set properly. We'll turn the beacons off. Okay, and cab utility as needed, IFE as needed. Fuel pumps will go to off here. And electrical pumps as well. Page 2. Anti-ice is off. Hydraulic panel set. Recirc packs. Isolation valve open. Engine bleeds on. APU bleeds on. Lights set. Flight directors off. And page 3. Transponder to standby, APU as needed. And folks, we are in the gate here in Seattle. We appreciate the flying time with y'all. Hope you enjoyed the flight as much as we did as well. We're just getting things opened up here so the people can disembark. And all right, so we are in the gate, I cautiously say. That train kind of cracks me up. Are you guys watching that? Them rail cars are just going all over the place. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I used to be on the railroad, that's why. Boy, if they did that, oh, I'd hate to be in that cab, man. All that slam banging around in the back. Ooh, just moving around for a better picture of our chariot that brought us into Seattle. Ain't going to get much better than that, folks. All right. So, hope you enjoyed the flight. 723 feet a minute auto land. That pretty well sucked. Um, but that's okay. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, G-Nice for you. Hope you all did as well. We're going to go for the credit now at Sim Air Force. And the pirate has been filed. Close that out. Check this out just to make sure. And there it is. All right, so folks, you have a great day. If y'all liked what you saw, please, by all means, click that follow button. That way you'll be able to follow us on the next adventure. Um, we don't know where we're going next because this whole week was only planned for a couple days of flying on stream, but with 14 days off starting last Sunday, wow, a lot of days to fly. So we'll see if we put any more in the air but tomorrow was supposed to be a day I worked, but obviously I'm at home. So we'll see what we can do for you, how we're feeling. Haven't had any symptoms that I know of COVID, that you hear on TV. So we'll continue to do as told and stay at home for another 12 days. And we'll be looking for y'all in the air on the next flight. Y'all have a great day. Great Tuesday, rest of your Tuesday. And we'll be chatting with you down the road. God bless, and y'all have a great day.